Welcome to this Your Local Election Headquarters edition of News 13 at 10. Mayor Michele Miller of Mexico Beach, her reign would appear to be over.
The majority of voters decided to recall Miller during today's special election. The vote was 348 or 63% in favor of the recall, 207 or 37% in favor of allowing Miller to stay in office. But there is a big question mark about this vote. A judge still hasn't decided if the recall effort was legal. News 13's Courtney Evans has been following this story for months. She's live in our studios tonight with reaction to that vote. And Courtney, what did Michele Miller have to say?
Amy, Michele Miller had nothing to say. I was with her when the election results came in. Once the results were announced, she declined to comment on the outcome. But the chairman of the recall committee, Donnie Walker, did speak with me tonight. He says he is excited voters had the chance to let their voices be heard. While Walker spearheaded the committee, he says it was a team effort to get everything completed with the recall process. He's unsure what will happen now with the ongoing lawsuit, but he hopes tonight's results is the beginning of a fresh start for everyone in Mexico Beach.
There's some normalcy now that we can enjoy our city and not worry about every single meeting and worry about if this is going to get done, that's going to get done. What I hope is that this council has some chemistry, can work together and start ticking off those boxes and checking those things to get things done.
With Miller now out of office, voters were asked to decide who should replace her as mayor. Two people jumped into that race. Richard Wolff resigned from his council seat to run for this one. He faced Eric Fasagi, and Wolff's gamble paid off. He received 58% of the votes to Fasagi's 42%. So Richard Wolff is Mexico Beach's new mayor. We caught up with Richard Wolff at his election results party. Wolff says he knows he took a gamble by not running for his council seat again, but says it paid off now that he has been elected as the next mayor. As far as the lawsuit goes, Wolff says he won't have any fear of what could happen and plans to focus on serving the citizens in Mexico Beach.
I don't want it to be like the last year, and that's the reason I made the decision to run. We need some firm leadership that can move us forward and take that group and make them into a team, and I believe I can do that.
Voters also decided between two Mexico Beach council seats. 3 candidates were hoping to become the next council person for seat 4. Jason Adams received 51% of the votes, Lisa Logan received 28%, and Cindy Jolly pulled in 20% of the votes. So Jason Adams is the winner of seat 4. In the other race, Larry Henderson and Timothy Linderman faced off for council seat number 5. As you can see, Linderman ended up with a commanding victory over Henderson with 72% of the vote to 28. We caught up with Linderman to talk about how he sees Mexico Beach's future.
I listen to things, I research what I'm asked to do, and I'll listen to both sides. Even those who didn't vote for me, I'm still your councilman, and I look forward to discussions and to, honest and civil debates.
Jason Adams, who was elected for Council Group 4, was not available for interviews this evening. All of tonight's winners will attend their first council meeting next Tuesday. As for Michele Miller's recall lawsuit, the judge is supposed to issue his ruling next Thursday, April 25th.
Courtney Evans live in our studios tonight. Thank you, Courtney. Mexico Beach voters also had 5 referendums on the ballot that will make changes to the city charter.
And they passed all 5 of those referendums or amendments to the charter. Referendum number 1 sets maximum building heights to those established in the city land development code. It only applies to property inside the city boundaries. Voters comfortably passed that change, 74% to 26% of the votes cast.
Referendum number 2 was important as it was somewhat at the heart of the dispute between now former Mayor Michele Miller and most of the council. It changes the city's government from a mayor-council form of government to a council administrator form of government. It removes the line stating the mayor shall be the chief elected administrative and fiscal official for the city. The change passed by an 8% margin.
Referendum number 3 formally adds the position of city administrator to the charter. Voters passed that one overwhelmingly, 76% of the vote to 24% against.
Referendum number 4 formally adds the position of city clerk to the charter. Voters passed that one by an even greater margin of 80% to 20%.
And referendum number 5 changes the way city elections are handled. It'll require a runoff election in any race where one of the candidates does not receive a majority of 50% plus 1 votes. That one passed by a 26% margin.